An envoy of Vegas, yet you carry yourself for battle. If so, many graves in the East are filled with those who set his... It is Kaiser's will. I see you fight with words. I have no need to... You think we would march without a means of resupply? We have the fort. We will have the dam. And we shall harvest as we move west. There are many towns, many slaves. You rely too much on the trappings of civilization. The people of the West were once tribes. They will relearn their way. Long ago, when taking Denver, I had to face such a challenge. It was the lines of food and water that nearly broke the Legion's strength. When I felt in that struggle, I felt as I saw the map of the West. The West is a trap. The bear has already been caught in it. Then when I return, man of the West, we shall see if your belief will withstand the blades. But I shall give you the time you need to prepare. Perhaps it is unfortunate Wolpes was not here to hear your words. Something tells me you would prove more than his man. Until the day when our armies meet again, envoy.
Alway, true to Kaiser.
Caesar on the cross. Been a long time since I've seen the kind of work you've laid down. And the screams of those Legion bastards as they kick dirt running east like a choir of angels to my ear. Speaking of, that crazy light show over the fort? What the fuck was that? Some kind of thumb of God you called down? Amazing. Could use 100 of you. Just scatter you over the east like jacks. Give those plump... What the hell are you on about? House? He's just a rumor. What is this Brahmin shit? I'm not getting the feeling we're all about to sing Kumbaya. What the hell are you talking about? What is this? Free economic zone of New Vegas? What the hell does that mean? Demands NCR's immediate withdrawal. Withdraw? Like fucking hell we're withdrawing. We just held the dam. We didn't do it to let it go. This paper of yours isn't fit to wipe my ass. If you think after all that's happened, I'm going to grab my aim... You know I won't surrender the dam. And certainly... We held this place for years. Kicked one-legged out of here so hard, Caesar burned him to a crisp. It's our post. I'll fight for it again today. If you're looking to convince me otherwise, you better have a lot more reasons than... True. Guess I'm a little too used to seeing Securitrons in Vegas to think they turn and be bad news. And I know how bad... Look, House, Vegas, it's pretty. Got you blinded a bit, maybe. But NCR's got perks, too. Think about it before you sign on with them. And if you say no, keep in mind what that means. NCR may have... I'm not going to throw away the lives of my men just to make a point. And they'll...
You know, I've had thousands of employees in my time. Few met my expectations. Fewer still surpassed them. Your performance has been nothing short of spectacular. If I have need for a specialist of your stripe again, I'll know just where to turn. Back to Vegas, shall we? I really should do something about that monorail with all the new resources. I can make sure it not only runs, but runs on time. No need to worry about the General, by the way. He'll be held responsible, publicly disgraced. 36.5% probability of suicide, by my estimate. Kimball won't be able to save him. He'll be too busy getting thrown out of office. But less than a 3% chance of suicide, mind you. Vegas might see a dip in revenue for a few months, half a year. But soon enough, the tourists and their money will be pouring in. Vegas will be a shining jewel in the middle of the desert, an oasis of light, a beacon to show mankind the way to the stars. This is just the start, you see. This is where it all begins.
And so the courier who had cheated death in the cemetery out at Good Springs cheated death once again, and the Mojave Wasteland was forever changed. Mr. House's Securitron army took control of Hoover Dam and the Strip, pushing both the Legion and the exhausted NCR out of New Vegas. Mr. House continued to run New Vegas his way, a despotic vision of pre-war glory. The streets were orderly, efficient, cold. New Vegas continued to be the sole place in the wasteland where fortunes were won and lost in the blink of an eye. The courier, fair and kind-hearted to those in the wasteland, ensured that Mr. House would keep New Vegas stable and secure for future generations. Mr. House afforded him every luxury at his disposal in the Lucky 38, out of gratitude and a quiet sense of pride for his choice in lieutenants.
Mr. House showed little interest on the boomers, who eventually began venturing out to Nellis to meet and trade with travelers.
Buried beneath tons of rubble, the Mojave chapter of the Brotherhood of Steel was no more. Those few who were outside the Hidden Valley bunker when it was destroyed settled into new lives, or headed west to find a new chapter to join.
The Fiends staged an attack against Camp McCarran during the Second Battle of Hoover Dam. During the NCR's retreat, the Fiends overwhelmed many of the troopers before Mr. House's Securitrons could deal with them.
After Mr. House gained control of New Vegas, he sent a Securitron to Good Springs as a token of appreciation for helping the courier. Victor was a mixed blessing, however, as he continually monitored the town for Mr. House.
With no cure for the Nightkin schizophrenia in sight, the disgruntled Nightkin left Jacobstown. Without a treatment, their insanity grew. The crazed Nightkin terrorized the wasteland, and Jacobstown suffered repeated reprisals from mutant-hating humans. In the end, surviving mutants abandoned Jacobstown entirely, its existence quickly forgotten by the rest of the wasteland.
Flush with his victory, Mr. House sent Securitrons into Freeside, thinking to increase his control over the area. When fighting broke out, the kids fought valiantly, but were no match for the armored killing machines, and were wiped out to the last man.
After Ray's brain was transplanted into Rex's cybernetic body, it took Rex some to adjust to the old scrapyard dog's memories. Eventually, Rex's mind settled peacefully, melding his own memories with that of long travels with old Lady Gibson.
Though Novak was a priority target for the Legion, many of Novak's citizens died in its defense. In the weeks that followed, Sebright followers returned to Novak to help restore its defense, allowing it to remain independent of NCR.
The NCR, battered by the law of the dam, were unable to devote any troops to retaking the correctional facility from the powder gangers. As a result, powder ganger raids on caravans became an unfortunate fact of life in the Mojave for years to come.
Armed with a wide array of improvised explosives and stolen weapons, the Vault 19 powder gang tormented the Mojave wasteland for years. Citizens of the NCR were favorite targets, and they always suffered the worst fates.
Despite NCR's pledge to support Prim, they abandoned the town after their loss to Mr.House. As repayment for their NCR loyalty, Mr.House sends Securitrons to Prim to protect it and collect heavy taxes from its citizens.
And so the Courier's Road came to an end, for now. In the new world of the Mojave Wasteland, fighting continued, blood was spilled, and many lived and died just as they had in the old world. Because war never changes.